Now, let's say that Joe Biden wins the elections. Will Israel change its policy when it comes to Iran?
I think they'll have to be forced to change their policy, really, because Joe Biden was the vice president under Barack Obama. And Barack Obama signed a deal with Iran, and obviously Joe Biden is a staunch supporter of this deal, and he will most likely try and renegotiate with the Iranians. And if he does so, Israel will have to simply just comply. They can't go on rogue missions in Iran and blowing up all kinds of things if the United States and Iran are actually negotiating.
So there is a window of opportunity now, right? Basically, to what extent do you think that Trump, is going to support Israel if it escalates its attacks against Iran?
It really depends on a lot of things. First of all, Trump is right now campaigning in the United States, so there is a domestic aspect to this. But really, if Iran starts firing missiles maybe at Israel or is launching cyber attacks, the United States with Trump as the leader will most likely back Israel to the fullest extent. In fact, his former national security advisor, John Bolton, in his book, said that Trump allegedly gave Netanyahu a full green light to do whatever he wants, basically with Iran.
Now, Iran's reaction to the killing of Soleimani was fairly weak. Obviously, there was a huge expectation that we were going to see a massive retaliation here. What has the impact of that weaker response been in terms of Israeli policy with Iran or against Iran?
It was a very, very interesting period when Soleimani was killed. In the days after Israel was really holding its breath here, Netanyahu instructed everyone to keep mum, to not say a word about this, because they didn't know how Iran would react to this. This was a very, very aggressive move, and at the end of the day, it could have escalated. But given that it didn't, I think Israel really learned their lesson from this. They saw that sometimes Iran is bluffing, and you can really get away with doing things that are very, very aggressive towards Iran. So I think that this really taught them a lesson, and this is maybe why they're behind these explosions now.
All right, Yotam, thank you so much for joining us with that insight.